Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Cool. Welcome in, y'all, to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast with Jake, Josh, and Kevin. Today, what's today, Kevin?
It's gonna be the day.
That they're gonna throw it back to you.
Right now.
You should have somehow.
All right, that's enough. Anymore we get copyright
That's what I
strike.
gotta do.
That's the whole episode. It's just us.
3 ways singing songs.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We should have a karaoke
Funny
episode.
story.
That's what we
Oh,
do.
that'd be
Funny
hype.
story. I learned how to play guitar, like, I don't know, it's like almost 10 years
Okay,
ago at this
sick
point.
invite.
And one of the things that inspired me to play was that I heard Josh play Wonderwall by Oasis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, Josh, play guitar?
I haven't played in a while, but I know a couple 4-chord songs. Got some under my belt.
Both of you play guitar. We don't have an original jingle for Banger Management. We're just
We do have
wooing
an
into
original
our
jingle for
mics.
Banger Management.
I would like to put the instrumentals in there to complement the woos, you know? We'll have to
My
talk
voice is
about
my
that.
instrument.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
That's something we're gonna. Okay, I don't. We're probably gonna get that for next year.
That'd be
But
cool.
I feel like the fans are gonna miss our woos.
No, we do both. Obviously, the woos got to be there. We can't undo the woos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let us know in the Discord if you're gonna greatly miss our jingle, but we'll figure something out. And I think there's a lot of harmonizing that we can do and make it a pretty
I worked
strong
really
intro
hard
song.
on this jingle.
Yeah, you did. Obviously. I still remember vividly us being in my living room trying to come up with like what we're gonna do, and it was like I think it was like a McDonald's like knockoff. Was that what it was? I don't know.
no copyright or copyright.
Yeah.
Whatever the right thing is to say here.
Trademark, patent pending.
Yeah. Don't sue us.
Okay. Anyway, today is our Week 18 Hot Topics and Mailbag episode. Follow us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. We are there. Subscribe if you like the channel. Leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. Rate us 5 stars on wherever you get your podcast.
Hey.
And the YouTube. We are on YouTube now as well. Check that out. Subscribe to our channel and give this video a like if you enjoy. All of the socials are in the podcast description, and the Discord where you're going to tell us how much you love our jingle. That's the place to go. So it's in the podcast description. Be sure to check that out. Great community. Always great interacting with all of you there. Thanks to everybody who's joined and to our future Discord members. And great time to join.
We're close to 300 in the Discord, so it'd be cool to cross the
Wow.
300 mark before the end of the season. Obviously, we still have
Yeah.
multiple weeks left, so no doubt we will hit it unless I just jinx us. But
We all know what happens when we hit 300.
what happens? Enlighten me. Karaoke episode, right?
I would love if people just wanted to listen to me
If we-
karaoke for
If we hit 150 reviews on Spotify, we're currently at like 90 something right now. If we can hit 150 Spotify reviews, I will genuinely make a TikTok of me trying to do any kind of booty shake that is physically capable of myself.
Wow.
I will.
That's
I'm putting it out
wild.
there. It won't be pretty, but it'll be what you guys asked for. So
That's
But-
crazy, guys. We got to make this happen.
Josh about
And
to
I will
about
sing.
to make
I will sing
so
any
many
song.
alt-accounts.
I will sing any song that is voted the highest in the Discord. If we
Ooh,
reach that
okay. So we
many.
have a song while I try to throw it back. So that's great.
Yeah, and I could do a lot of languages too. I know I could do the Numa Numa song in Romanian. I know 99 Luftballons in German. So I will do my best for whatever gets voted the most.
All right.
And Jake will play guitar.
Yeah,
That's what I'm here for. Cool. Let's get into the hot topics.
Let's do that. Okay, first hot topic. God, it hurts, but I guess we'll just get into it. Connor Hellebuyuck, what is his rest of season outlook after that monster game? As a comparable, we can look at Jordan Binnington last year, right, where he was garbage and then has an unreal 4 Nations and then just has an insane finish to the season. Can we expect a similar resurgence from Connor Hellebuyuck?
I mean, Connor Hellebuyuck, if you looked at the advanced metrics, he was by far the most like saves above expected in the tournament. I think he was at like close to 6, and the second closest was like Saros at like 4.5 or something like that. But I mean that final against Canada, he went just absolutely nuclear. And I think if you're a Connor Hellebuyck owner, like you've been sad the whole season pretty much. Like he was injured for a while, but I honestly think coming back from this, like I just feel like he's gonna be close to Connor Hellebuyck that we expected. And this is tough because I feel like we had a Would You Rather recently and we were just like so low on Connor Hellebuyck. It was like Connor Hellebuyck or John Gibson, who are you taking? And I think we all went John Gibson at this point, given like Winnipeg is just dog awful and Hellebuyck was awful. But now, like, who are you taking?
I don't think I think I stayed Hellebuyck.
I think we all went John Gibson. I'm putting it into the world.
I know I was a hater.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. I'm not gonna revise anything. I know people could pull the tapes on me, so I'm just gonna be honest. I was saying some crazy names that I would take.
I know.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was a pretty big hater. Look, it's hard to give so much weight to something that happened outside of NHL season, right? He also fact is that yes, his competition was hard, but he was also playing with some an insane decor, right? An insane team as a whole. He's going back to Winnipeg, which is not a good team this year. So
lost Josh Morrissey.
Yeah, even though that's day to day. And I mean, look, the same thing could be said though for Binnington last year, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I wouldn't expect it to be like that level. I don't think he's going to suddenly become the best goalie in the league again. But I expect him to do better than he was doing before.
Is he a top 10 goalie rest of the season?
What do you think, Jakey?
I think so.
I mean, off the top of my head, it's like Vasilevsky, Blackwood, Ottinger. That's 3. Who would you be willing to put there? Would you take Igor top 10?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I have...
Do you take Hellebuyck or Igor? That's a good question.
I'll take Hellebuyck.
Really?
Yeah, I think that the Jets have some sort of glimmer of hope. And I mean, as much as they look horrible in the standings right now, they're 3 wins away from being in 5th place in the Central, and I don't even think it's impossible for them to overtake Utah for 4th. The top 3 are a lock. They're way stronger than anyone else in that division, but I think that they're going to make a serious playoff push. As much as I am not necessarily confident they'll make it, they're going to try for sure. They'll overtake Nashville, they'll overtake Chicago. I have little doubt of that. And I think they're eventually probably going to overtake Utah.
Okay, so he's top 5 then.
Yeah, I think he could be top 5.
Like, it's who are the other top goalies you would want? Like, Kemper's been dog water, but he's usually around that conversation. I think Sorokin has been insane.
Yeah.
Gustafsson has been there on a team that's going to win a lot of games. He's a very solid
So
goalie.
Hellebuyck, I'm pretty sure I said confidently over Gibson, but there was the time where I think I took Greaves over Sorokin, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah,
so I'll own up to it when I made the.
Hey, Greaves just got a shutout. I'm just last game before that.
One out of 6 compared to Sorokin.
Yeah, I think Vasilevsky, Sorokin are 2 goalies I'm confidently taking over, and Blackwood
really,
and Ottinger.
That's 4.
And then it may be getting into Hellebuyck territory.
I mean, you're getting into after that it's the Logan Thompsons, the Gustafsons, the Bussies.
I don't hate Brandon Bussy either. I was gonna say, I don't know if I can say he's top 10, but I still think he's good. But whatever. Yeah, I think honestly it's in the top 5 to 10 range. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Which is crazy. I think we had him at top 20, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And it's crazy how just a few games at the Olympics really changes things. But I
don't know. I'm not ready to crown him a top 5 to 10 goalie just yet. I just think I have to see how he does on Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Jakey could save McDavid a breakaway with that Team USA in front of him. Okay, so
even though that there's nobody between McDavid and the breakaway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about the vibes on the 46th anniversary of Miracle on Ice.
Exactly. No, it's just it's on the one hand, I don't want to discount the Olympics because we saw what it did for Binnington last year, right?
He was insane too. Hellebuyck.
Clearly
he just, played at a different level.
Yeah, but I'm saying Binnington last year, with the 4 Nations, right? It showed that stuff outside of NHL play could have an impact on your rest of the season. But at the same time, it's hard to just not to. I want to stop myself from getting too caught up in the hype.
Mm-hmm.
He had one good game. It's not like he was that good the rest of the tournament. The rest of the tournament, it was just Team USA was really good.
Yeah.
He wasn't bailing them out or anything. That was the one game where he
played good
bailed them
against
out.
Sweden as well.
That's true. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't play bad. I'm just saying that like the finals game was the only one where I felt like he stood out
stole
as
it.
like a big
Yeah.
factor. Yeah, exactly. So like one good game, is that enough to one good game plus being the best goalie the entire
Super high
last year?
stakes, though.
So yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna be better, but I don't think he's gonna be top 5 goalie.
If he didn't, this is the last thing I'll add on this, but if he didn't have the pedigree that he does, then I'd feel a lot less confident. But he is like, I mean, there was a reason he was picked the highest goalie this year, right?
Yeah.
So I think that this was just like the resurgence that he needed. And if it wasn't him, if it was anybody else, I would be like, okay, like I'm not really thinking about it that deeply just because of how good he has been in recent years. I think that he could have a very strong finish.
If you
I
have
think that's fair.
Hellebuyuck, are you trying to capitalize on this like Team USA gold medal hype and trade him?
If you can get one of
If
those top
mine-
5 goalies, I would.
Yeah. And also if my need is to if I have like another 2 decent goalies and I want a player, sure.
Mhm.
But, like at the moment, I'd rather kind of just keep him because I don't think I think people trying to buy him are not going to give the top 5.
Would you
know
give?
what I mean?
Would you trade Bussy for Hellebuyuck right now?
Yes.
I think you could probably do Bussy plus a little plus.
Like Bussy and Batherson?
I mean, that's a little too much.
I actually don't think I would
No?
necessarily do that because I think it's close enough.
But Bussy for Hellebuyuck, I feel like some leagues, the manager is like, finally I can get him off my roster, and other leagues are gonna be like, finally he's back.
Yeah.
I can buy him. I don't know.
I think that could get done. I don't think that's a crazy trade offer. I don't even know which one I'd rather, honestly.
Bussy just signed a
just a
contract
1-for-1?
extension for like 1.5 million or whatever it was.
Insane. I can't believe
I don't know how they
cheap
got
it
that
was.
deal done, but it makes no sense. Their starter for like less than 2 mil. How?
But, I mean, he's not like really their starter, right? Like,
I mean,
Kachekhov's
Anderson
injured
is
for the
gone,
season.
and Kochetkov is
Yeah.
like always. I was gonna say DEAD, but like I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I get it. My instinct also was like, this is a ridiculous like steal, but he's only played like this is the only season he's ever
Yeah.
played, and he's played like 20 games or something. It's for him, like he's kind of like a relatively nobody who just made a bunch of money. Anyways, we're getting a bit off track here,
Yeah, yeah.
but
all this
I
to
think
say, I think it's going to be a good rest of season outlook for Hellebuyuck.
Yeah.
Let's go to the
all right.
next.
On that same vein, what do we think about Jack Hughes' rest of season outlook after scoring that golden goal, losing a couple teeth? Maybe he shows up with some golden teeth. Who knows? Yeah, what do we think? Do we think that? I mean, we've been talking about Hughes in part with Brad and kind of like that whole New Jersey team, like top guys, top power play unit as bounce back candidates for a while. Do we think that he's finally healthy from that hand injury? Because pre Olympics, it seemed like he still was playing injured. But now it seems like everything's better. He's riding that high.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to finish off the season as that like late first round pick that most people grabbed him at?
This is the opposite of the Central Division. I think the Metropolitan is loaded and is really, really going to be tough for them to advance. But they're also, they're not out of it either.
They're gonna try.
I think, they're definitely going to try. I think the Rangers and the Flyers are the only 2 teams that I'm counting out of the playoffs in this division. I don't think either of them are going to make it. And then between the other 6, I think it's kind of fair game, honestly, except Carolina's the only lock. Other than that, even Pittsburgh, especially if Crosby does miss some time. So I think like that's kind of like an overall macro approach to this. And then if you kind of get into the nitty gritty of it all, if this team is to succeed, it's going to be with Jack Hughes succeeding. There's no way that the Devils are going to do anything without him being involved. And I think that this could lead to a slight Jesper Bratt resurgence as well, as we've spoken about a little bit. Overall, I don't think he's going to suddenly turn into necessarily like, a 2-point per game kind of guy, but 1.1 to 1.3 rest of the season, I don't think that's out of the cards.
I really like the potential of Jack Hughes to end the season. I think I've been higher on him than most throughout the whole year. I've bought him in many leagues. We talked about that trade that I made earlier, like Batherson and Hyman for Jack Hughes. That was a big one when I did that. And then he got hurt like shortly after, so I was kind of not happy about that. But I think coming back after the momentum and the adrenaline of scoring that game-winning goal in the Olympics for your team in overtime, and then coming back on a New Jersey team that a lot of their top guys went to the Olympics. It was Hischier and Timo on Switzerland and Brad playing 6 minutes a night. He's gonna come back with a vengeance after Team Sweden did him dirty. So I'm thinking they all take that experience, they come back and they keep staying locked in and they turn up. And I think New Jersey can finish the season strong. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think they're one of those teams that is not interested in like punting the year. I think they're gonna try until the very last game. So I'm expecting big things from Jack. I think he's gonna get close to his 4 shots a game. I'm expecting at least a point per game and up, and I think the power play can really go off. So I'm excited about this Devils team, but I was excited always, so I'm just still keeping it up and hoping that I'm vindicated and not let down.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very I've been high on Hughes the whole year. I've been trying to buy the whole year, and now it's definitely too late. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a great end of season for him. All right, next we've got Brayden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I feel like it's been a while since we've had the chance to talk about him. Obviously, he's still injured. I haven't seen any news about him yet in terms of when his return timeline looks like.
Mhm.
I know when he originally got injured, they were like, okay, he's out for the Olympics, but he's not out rest of the season. It's not as bad as it looked. But end of the day, we still don't know, right? So I don't expect him to be back this week because I feel like we would have heard something by now. So is this someone that you want to buy still? Are you still trying to like, grab him? Do you think he's coming
Mhm.
back at some point rest of the season? And if so, do you think he can be, the player that he was drafted to be rest of the season?
Look, if he does play, I think that he's gonna have a super strong finish. It was a very rocky year for him all year. How this is gonna work is that he's gonna take line 1 center, and he'll play with maybe not even Kucherov. Like maybe it'll be like line 2, but he'll play with Gensel or Hagel. So he'll be very well positioned for success. He'll also be on power play 1. And the fact that this team it was clicking on all cylinders without him, then you just inject him into the lineup, he'll be sick. And we can't forget that right before the injury, he was doing really, really well. He was
Mhm.
cold for the vast majority of the year, and then was going on an absolute tear, and then unfortunately got hurt. So I think that he can kind of just like, if they are going to play him, then it means that he's healthy enough to play. I don't think they're going to rush him back to the lineup because they are in a good position for the playoffs. And that to me would indicate that he's going to play. He's going to play well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, as we speak, I think most of you guys are past your trade deadline. But if you're still able to trade for Brayden Point, I'm looking through that ASAP. I know I'm probably going to answer a lot of questions in the Discord come everybody's trade deadlines. I'm already getting them about Brayden Point, what to do, who do I trade him for. But if you have Point, I'd be very happy. I'd be very confident about his production rest of the season because when healthy, he's going to be line 1, power play 1, playing with Kucherov. And I think honestly, there arguably maybe no better place to be in the whole league. So we know
Yeah.
how high he can play in terms of talent level. He's also a goal scorer too. I feel like people forget that. Like he can score a lot of goals, and in a lot of points leagues that's very valuable. Even categories leagues, you still want guys that will score more than they assist type of thing. So I like Point a lot, and like I said before, I mean we just uploaded a short form content like sell Brandon Hagel right now because when Point comes back, he's probably going to lose that power play 1. So that's just kind of like ties everything together here.
Yeah. Okay, here's a more niche one, but as Habs fans, it's fun to talk about. Patrik Laine. How does a potential trade affect his value? I was seeing that over the course of the Olympic break, he's pretty much close to healthy. I think he is healthy. They just haven't officially activated him. But what I saw from a Finnish source during the Olympic break is that he's pretty much essentially an LA King already.
Really?
So yeah, look, we'll see what happens. It hasn't been announced yet, and the trade freeze lifted at midnight last night.
The
So,
Bergevin effect.
yeah, exactly. But but I think like if he goes to LA, which it seems to be rumored that he is, I see him slotting in as like line 2, power play 1,
Mhm.
and I think that could be a very interesting spot, right? Power play 1, he could be like the finisher on for Panarin's like passes.
Finisher.
Exactly, yeah.
Two could play on that game. Referencing our waivers episode from last Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that like, yeah, look, I don't expect him to do anything 5v5. I think like that's just not the type of player he is anymore. But if he's just a power play merchant, last year he was getting like 0.37 power play points per game. Like, sure, he didn't play a lot, right? But that's elite power play production. So I'd be interested in picking him up if he gets traded to LA. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, I'm always on just the team that like I just don't want to roster him. I think he in my mind he's kind of like a Kuzmenko, but more power play as opposed to anything else. And I think funny enough, like he would be just he'd replace Kuzmenko on that power play 1, and I think he'd have value there. But I think line 2 is arguably generous with his defensive capabilities. I can easily see him be like a line 3 guy, line 3, line
Yeah.
4, playing power play 1, and then if you're so bad, you end up getting demoted for power play 1 too, because like the team wants the guys that are not living up to the hype, but the guys that are contributing to be on that power play 1, and maybe they can
But I feel
leverage
like they
his skill
trade for
set
him.
there. But I feel like
You're not going to
they're
trade for him
trading
and then
for
not
him.
put him there.
They're trading for him because they're desperate, because they need somebody to replace Fiala, and also they're honestly helping the Habs out with getting the contract off the books. So I feel like, there's just the cap room. If they have the cap room this season, his contract expires at the end of the year, like it's basically just a rental for them. But I mean, for them, it's like a no-brainer. They need somebody to replace Fiala, and why not get like a guy that has a good shot that maybe they can leverage for their power play that's already been dog awful. So
Yeah.
I can see him having some, but it might be too one-dimensional for my liking. So I wouldn't be interested, but I can see how some people would be.
Yeah, I think whether he stays on the Habs or gets traded, this is not the year that he's going to have any sort of resurgence. Honestly, as much as it seems like his career is kind of like dead in the water, it's like this year he's basically been injured the whole year. Last year he had injury issues, and the year before, but then 22, 23, which is not that long ago, he was almost a point per game. The year before he was a point per game.
It was
I
like
don't think it's
4 years
impossible
ago
that
almost.
yeah, but I don't think it's impossible that like next year he comes back and actually is a decent player. But this is not the year for that. No matter what, I don't want to roster him on any team this year. In a dynasty league or anything like that, like I'm not like completely dropping him. I don't think he has zero hope. But for redraft this year, no matter where he is, I'm not interested.
We said that
I guess
last year.
I guess I'm the outlier here because I
Yeah,
think
I know.
that I think he can have some value, like if he's on a power play 1 somewhere. But I
I
also think
get it.
that you could pick him up
You
and
think
then
you
drop
think
him a week later.
you think
Like,
Hiller will be, encouraging Laine when he sees him not back check or anything like that? You think he's gonna like that type of player?
No, I just think that if they trade for him and they actually play him, look, if they trade for him, they're either scratching him or putting him on power play 1. That's my opinion. I don't see like what value does he have if he's not on power play 1, and like you don't have to trade for him. So if you're trading for him, it's to play him, and if you're playing him, it's to put him on power play 1. So look, he's gonna do nothing at even strength, but if he gets you like he could take 3 shots on a single power play. If he just sits there and claps bombs from like the
From Panarin?
the hash marks like the entire power play, just Panarin just saucing him stuff, and he just launches them, and he scores one every like 2 games or 3 games, something like that. Like it's
Honestly, they might
I
need
don't know,
just
he could
a
have some
guy like
value.
line 4 power play 1, and I guess their power play going from like 29th to like 18th, and honestly that'll be
Yeah.
a huge success for them. So I don't
Yeah,
hate it
so
in that, but for fantasy, I'm like, I don't know how reliable that is. I'd rather just pick up Corey Perry, who's already like a power play kind of specialist there, and get that value. But we'll see.
I think that's fair.
Still
I think that's fair.
all
Look,
hypothesis.
I'm definitely not high on Line A. I just think that he could.
You
be
heard it
worth
here
rostering.
first. Laine better than McDavid, but not as good as Josh Norris.
So if he does stay on the Habs, then we're
Zero
all not
interest.
interested though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he has to get.
He wouldn't even
traded
make
somewhere.
the roster. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, honestly, I think he's been healthy for a bit. Honestly, I think they've just been keeping him on a. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Actually, maybe not. But I think that he could have come back earlier. They just don't really want him to play. Anyways, on the topic of the Habs, Sam Montembeault and Jakub Dobeš, who is the starter? I feel like we've been getting this question all year, and as Habs fans, people expect us to know. And I feel like we've been pretty consistent actually with our answer, where every time, I mean, at least for me, I've always said it's going to be Montembeault. And there's been Dobeš periods, there's been Fowler periods, there's been some Montembeault periods, but at the end of the day, going into the playoffs, like who's going to be their guy? I mean, first of all, it's going to be the guy who performs the best, but who's going to be given the most opportunities? It's going to be Montembeault. And I think going into coming out of the Olympic break, I think he's going to be the starter until he proves otherwise.
So I have very little confidence in saying this, but I actually think it's going to be Dobeš. There's a lot of, and like I am like, this is not a hill I want to fight for, as some say, but really, like to me, I just kind of look at this, and there is a decent amount of hype over the fact that Dobeš is doing this as essentially a rookie in the league, and that's pretty cool. And he he's winning a lot of games. Like his percentages aren't great or anything like that. So for fantasy, we kind of gloss over it and we're like, eh. But he is the goalie who I'm pretty sure has the best winning percentage on the Habs this year, and that says something for a team that, it's not like we're like a lock by any means. We're trying to push for it. The Atlantic is super scary, so I think Dobesh may actually, like, I think it's going to start out as a tandem and see who plays better. But I think that the Habs are one of these teams that actually does want to lock in on a one goalie situation going into the playoffs, as opposed to, a Buffalo who may just actually ride out the tandem rest of the season. So to me, I predict it's going to be tandem for a week, maybe two, and then Dobesh is going to be the one to take it. I could very easily see it being Montembeault though. So it's very tough.
I'm so conflicted because if we didn't get the Olympic break, it was like Dobesh's job and he ran away with it, right? Like, and they were starting to get the stats out. Like, look how many games he's won this season. Like, whenever he plays, he wins. So why aren't we letting him run with this opportunity instead of playing, bringing up Jacob Fowler and giving Monty chance after chance after chance? Now, the thing is, the last game Monty played before the Olympic break, he dropped like a 970 against Winnipeg and really killed it. And then we have the Olympic break that kind of like resets the stage. And Monty is the guy that they want to be the starter. He has the pedigree. He has the history of being the starter. If they could force one guy to be the starter, it would be Monty. But all the performances are in Dobesh's favor. So I'm with Jakey, honestly. I feel like it's a really mixed situation. I actually just picked up Monty in one league. When I had the opportunity to pick up, it was him or like UPL. And I took with Monty because I feel like he has the opportunity to just run away with being the clearest starter. But I'm not confident in it at all. Although I do think that with the reset, they'll give him the chance. And whether he takes it, that's up to him.
Yeah,
So,
just to be clear, I'm not confident in it at all. I was just saying that I think I think that's why it's been such a big topic of conversation, right? Is that there's just no clear, easy answer. I still do lean Monty though, but all the performance says Dobesh.
Listen, on the season, Montembeault is 10-8-2. Dobesh is 18-5-4.
It's crazy, right?
That's ridiculous, and a better save percentage. Like, to me, the choice is kind of obvious here. But I agree that they're gonna want to default to Montembeault, but I still think that it's just gonna be clearly Dobesh's job because he's been better, and I think he will continue to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either way, honestly.
Yeah,
I hope it's Monty.
You do?
I just picked him up, so I have no Dobesh exposure.
Yeah,
but as a Habs fan, I want it to be Monty because I feel like that he has the higher ceiling. But I'm happy rolling with whoever's giving us the results.
Yeah, exactly. And I think so's the management. So really, at the end of the day, it's up to them. Whichever.
Imagine we trade
better.
for Binnington. I'd be devastated.
God, that would be awful. No, we're not as dumb as Edmonton. Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's get into some questions. So, Paul L on Discord asked, "What are your thoughts on the Department of Player Safety? Why are some terrible hits allowed, and why are the punishments so inconsistent?"
I mean,
if we could answer this question properly, I think we'd have better jobs than we do. But
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, look, to me, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we obviously can't give a specific, like thorough answer here, but the way that I see it is that if I'm taking the naive approach, if you will, and that there's no bias, whatever, is that there are technically certain hits which may look way worse than they are, but it could simply be because the player who got hit was in a position that let's say he was off balance already and then he got hit into the boards and it looked like a huge, illegal hit, but it just was because the player was positioned badly and maybe they look into it. But if you're a fan of the team, of the player who, got hit into the boards horribly, obviously you're going to be pissed. At the end of the day, sometimes it's just it's not the player's intent to injure. It just so happens to be that the other guy was off balance and fell or something like that. And it looks really bad. Then there's if I'm taking the skeptical approach and it's certain players just kind of get a free reign for those things, I have no idea. I don't know why that would be the case. It's not really fair. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, I Honestly, I don't think there's some big conspiracy out there. I know everyone online thinks that the Florida Panthers paid off, or like I think like the Florida Panthers have like an owner, like a GM or something, who's like related to someone who's like connected to the player safety, and they're like, I
Yeah.
like, and people online are like, oh, the Panthers never get penalized for whatever, I don't know. I don't think there's a big conspiracy going on. I think it's just inherently a very subjective job and subjective punishment. Like it's just the nature of the game where it's impossible for it to be like a pure objective because every hint is different, every situation is different. You can't have like as much as you have the rules, like at the end of the day it's subjective. So I think that's just why it happens where it's lopsided sometimes.
They also always take into account like history of the aggressor, like whoever made the hit, and also they always take into account
injury.
how bad the injury was. Like if the guy's out for a month and somebody else is out for like a week in the same kind of hit exactly the same way, the guy that's out for a month is probably going to get a more severe, suspension or whatever.
Yeah, the one that like comes to mind, kind of like when I was just saying how like like it's like not the player's intent to injure, it just like sort of happens that the other player was in a bad position. That Chara hit on Pacioretty like 15 years ago, remember something like that? Like, and he didn't get suspended. And
but
they
did change the entire board system for every year. Got changed because of that to the rounded corners.
That was crazy, like and like obviously like I mean that looked horrible, but at the end of the day, like it was really scary actually.
Yeah,
it was not like I mean I don't know. I mean, Chara was a pretty like aggressive player, but like you could see that it wasn't.
He was a physical player, but he was still. I feel like he was a nice guy.
No, it wasn't like his intent. He wasn't
trying
injure,
to kill him. Yeah,
like, like exactly. So it's like it's one of those. As a Habs fan, you're outraged. How did like your best player just gets like destroyed on the ice, but on the other hand, it's like okay, well, it was just a horrible position there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, Tyler Moore on
I haven't
Discord.
thought about that hit in a long time.
That was nuts. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think about it when I see like the rounded boards because it's literally why they changed it. So it's but yeah, no, crazy. Okay, Tyler Moore on Discord asked, "What are your guys' actual jobs?"
Let's dox ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys do? I would love to know.
Keeping it vague enough, I do work at a consulting company. I assist on a lot of projects that have to do with like analytics and stuff like that. So trying to bring in my fantasy hockey relevant experience to my actual day job,
What about you, Jakey?
Josh, you go.
Jake's like, how to be vague about my job title?
Yeah.
No, I have a funny answer. Why you go first?
Okay. Yeah. No. I just I work in strategy for a while, which checks out with the fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it does.
big Excel guy, and that's why I have all these fun Excel models for fantasy as well. So it kind of is like a cycle. I'll like learn some new Excel trick at work, and then I'll bring it into my fantasy Excel, and then like I'll learn something new there and bring it into work, and it all ties in together. It's fun.
Nice. My answer, please. Do you guys know that from How I Met Your Mother?
How I Met Your Mother, yeah. And then like in the last season, it's like an acronym for like him.
Yeah, provide legal exculpation and sign everything.
Essentially be the scapegoat.
A huge plot twist in the show. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
that was actually brilliant. So that's not actually what I do, but to be way less vague, I work in finance. All right, next question.
As vague as you could get.
Yeah.
You just labeled yourself as a classic finance bro. Now we get to move on.
Seriously.
That's me. That's me. You're the one with the backwards hat.
Nobody in finance wears hats.
Yeah, they do.
They're all 6'5" and blue eyes and wear suits and go to Cathcart.
That's actually spot on. Okay, let's move on. China on Discord asked, how do you guys go about discussing trades you're trying to do? How do you sell it to whoever you're trying to trade with? I love this question because I feel like this is like, it's not just about the trade you send. It's about, talking to the person and, like framing it the right way. So, I mean, the way...
It's not about the trade you send. It's about the friends you lost along the way.
That's Josh's motto.
That is absolutely true.
Anything for a trade.
The best trade is a trade where you win, but the other person's not upset about it. So then you can trade with them again. So in future years or in that season. So yeah, that is the way I see it. I don't want to like completely rip someone off and then they never want to trade with me again, because you got to think long term. But in terms of like how you can talk to them with the trade, like I like to explain first of all why it makes sense for their team. I like to look at what a team the person I'm trading with needs, right? If it's a specific position, if it's a specific category. So that's how I start my hypothesis. I'm like, okay, I look at teams who have a need of something that I have a surplus of. So then I explain it to them why it would make sense on their end. But then I also think it's important to explain why it makes sense on my end. Because if I don't explain why I'm doing the trade, then they just think, oh, you're trying to fleece me in some way with some information I don't know. So if I explain it being like, I have too many centers, that's why, and I would like a left wing, so that's why I'm doing this positional switch. Or I have too many goals, I need more assists, like stuff like that. Like if you could come up with a reason in your head, you can be like, I'm actually buying low and selling high. That part you don't say out loud, But if you come up with like the general reason which makes sense and is partially/fully true, then I find that's a great way of like framing the trade, and people aren't as suspicious of you.
Yeah, I kind of it doesn't always work out this way. So let me give a good old preface there. I like looking at my opponent's team and seeing like what he kind of wants, what like like my opponent's team would want to necessarily get out of the trade.
Connor McDavid. Okay.
No, but like for instance, like Josh had McDavid, and I knew that like for him to have the stack of Draisaitl McDavid, that would make a lot more sense. And at the time, I wasn't competitive in faceoffs. I got Kucherov back, and then we did another bad trade for me. But that's neither here nor there. Like another one, and it doesn't even necessarily mean that like I'm winning or losing, but like just by that. But let's say, for instance, like I just offered like another trade where the guy I traded to, I know he has like a few Leafs on his team, and he could have. It was a fair trade, honestly, maybe even in his favor. But I got back a bit of a better playoff schedule. So like I kind of see it like as an incremental win. It's never a slam dunk. You don't want to feel like you're ripping the person off. The person doesn't want to feel like he's being ripped off, but he wants to like look at his team and be like, oof, if I have this team after, like that could be really good. But you kind of know you're winning like a little bit anyways.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But I mean, the question was, how do you discuss trades? And my trade discussion, I would say, like motto is always, I want to make it a fair trade. Obviously, I'm way less in the fleece department. Josh is always in the fleece department. I think JK2.
What are you talking about?
JK2, you guys tend to try to not try to fleece, but like I think it's.
What'd you say us for?
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I will say though, I just like for this before you go on, Kevin, like a good thing actually is like I kind of know the most people in the league, so that's like one thing that like,
like
a big starting
level.
point is you guys like asking me like what are their numbers, and then me going to them
Not
and being
anymore.
like, hey, just so you know, there could be a lot of texting coming, just so you know. And
I didn't know you were
like
prefetching our offers.
and then I connect you guys, and well, just like not now, whatever. We moved the league over to like kind of everyone has each other's contact, which is good. But at the end of the day, the point is that like it's good to actually know the person on a personal level. That's one thing that I guess I didn't factor into like my original answer. And you don't have to, but like enough that it's not just like in the Yahoo chat, like, yo, you like McDavid ? Like, like actually to like know the person to actually like develop something, it works. So
yeah, I mean that's a good point too, right? Like a lot of people they don't have the ability to actually message the other person. They're just kind of like sending offers back and forth. Sometimes you write a little message in the Yahoo chat box attached to the trade, and you're like, hey, like send me a counter or whatever. But in general, like when I'm trading with somebody, first of all, like Josh said, you always want to kind of be fulfilling a need on both ends, right? It's just, this person needs this, I have a surplus of this. First, you find, trade partners that are complementary, right? You can't always trade with every team. Josh and I have been trying to trade together for, feels like, since week 1.
No, I've been trying to trade with you. You haven't been trying to trade with me.
I'm open to it. I just don't think our teams are compatible. I think we're both trying to do the same type of trade, so it's not going to work when we're trying to do it to each other.
I just want to give a worse player and get a better player.
Listen, I also want to do that.
Oh. You're so difficult.
Yeah, except the players you're offering me are guys you're literally trying to cut. So
I was trying to break up the band with this question. I'm just saying.
But I also like painting a certain narrative for certain players. Like if I'm trying to buy low on a certain guy, if you can frame a narrative that's like not necessarily tied to the buy low, but separately, it can kind of like not mask what you're trying to do, but like I wanted to buy Jack Hughes for a long time, and I was like, listen, I know Hughes is a great player, but I really want the Bratt and Hughes stack. I'm already invested in Bratt and he sucks. Like I'm just trying to go all in here, you know? And then being like, I'm still offering a good value. I was giving like Panarin Plus at the time, which was like more value than probably most people would have been willing to give. But kind of just trying to frame the conversation in a certain way that maybe isn't directly tied to the players like up and down. I also like overpaying for trades all the time, to be honest. And you guys might not think they're overpays, but like I do
Send one of those my way. I'm very happy to take that.
I do low stakes overpays where I'm like, this is probably an L for me, but I'm confident in my ability to find replacement value on waivers. So I'm happy to give more value here and maybe lose the trade, quote unquote. But then like it's still making my team better in the long term. Like when I traded for Dorofeyev this year, I think on paper I lost that trade when we made it.
No, that was a win on the spot.
It was definitely not a win on the spot. I was giving a guy that was first of all better than Dorofeyev at the time with Palmieri. Plus, I was giving Vince Dunn, who was a power play 1 defenseman. And then Dorofeyev was dog water for 2 months. So it was like, okay, it was a big L for a while. And now Dorofeyev is good, and Palmieri's out for the season. So we're like, okay, like it was maybe not.
I can't believe you outed us for only going for the fleece.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, you don't always go for the fleece, but it's like I'm content with like not as big of a win as you guys would be. Let's say, if that makes sense.
I traded for Zetterlund, Monsieur. Okay.
Yeah, and then you spent like the whole evening trying to convince us how good Zetterlund is. So I don't know.
Anyway, let's go to the next question.
I don't really go for the fleece, but if it's offered to me, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right.
I hate you. China, don't ask such a contentious question next time, please. I'm kidding. It was a great question. Okay, let's go. Next one.
Gnome on Discord asked, have the Olympics changed your view on any player's fantasy outlook rest of season? For example, Slav going God mode, or certain players that got rest from not going to the Olympics?
So, honestly, Hughes and Hellebuyuck are 2 that we spoke about that I definitely kind of want to like start off the answer with. Slav, I was expecting a big finish from Slav anyways, because that's kind of what he does like past few years to finish off the season. And after the Olympics, I'm just more confident in that. So he's a great one. And one more name I'll throw in there. I think Dvorsky could be kind of a low-key, really decent player to finish the season, but that's in deeper leagues. So.
I do.
For me,
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
Josh.
you go. No, you go.
No, you
go first.
Okay.
No, seriously, you go.
All right, stay gold, pony boy.
So you hang up, okay?
To echo what Jakey said, I think he mentioned the big names. I also think like we get into this bubble of like trying to overvalue what happened at the Olympics, but it's still a sample size of games that we need to take into account. Like this player was on the ice playing hockey with other NHL players pretty much, right? It was just kind of like a mini all-star game, it feels like. I really think what opened my eyes a lot was the players that were more integral to their international team than their NHL team, let's say. So it really surprised me that, Granlund was the captain for Finland. And to me, that tells me like, okay, he's a guy that holds a lot of respect in the locker room, that maybe his pull for deployment is stronger than we anticipated because, people look up to him. Like Sebastian Aho was on that team, Rantanen was on that team, and yet it was Granlund that was the captain of that team. So to me, that just kind of like makes me think, okay, maybe Granlund going back to Anaheim will have a bigger role than we anticipate because he commands a lot of respect. So I think that was kind of something that really,
that's a good
point. Came into play. And I think a lot of extrapolation can happen for goalies.
Yeah.
I think Akira Schmid he played backup to I forget the guy's name, but it was like Bagone something or something. It sounded like Italian almost, but I was like, if he can't even be the starter for Team Switzerland on
Giannoni,
that's what it sounded super Italian, right?
yeah.
And if he can't even be the starter there, like how was he supposed to compete with Adin Hill back in Vegas? So I'm like, okay,
yeah. That's fair. I mean, for me, in terms of players that played the big name, I mean, maybe this wishful thinking, but Macklin Celebrini. Look, I mean, he played. I think he
missed so many shots though.
he did miss a lot of shots in the finals, but no, he was playing with McDavid the entire time, with McKinnon as well for a lot of the time. He was constantly, one of the top 2 most like time on ice forwards on Team Canada, and he made like the Olympic like all-star team. He was just phenomenal. I mean, he like was just unreal. And look, it's kind of hard to say he's going to do better than he was doing this entire season, but it makes me feel better about the fact that maybe he can maintain what he was doing the entire season, because of how well he did at the Olympics. I think that he's just, this whole season / this Olympics is really kind of like cementing him as a first round pick in fantasy next year. I would love to get him again next year, but I think you just have to follow the right spot. But yeah, so I'm pretty hyped about Celebrini rest of the season. And then for me, honestly, it's a lot of guys who got rested and got to get healthy over the course of the Olympics. I think that's actually really, really big.
Bedard is the biggest.
Bedard's a
name
huge
for me.
one. The coach said he's going to be taking faceoffs again coming out of the break, which essentially is saying he's finally healthy. A random one, again, this could be just wishful thinking because he doesn't have the deployment or anything, but Monahan was dealing with injury all season, and I think that this break could have helped him get healthy. And last year he was over a point per game. This year he's at under 0.5 points per game. So the fact that he's not power play 1 or line 1 makes it so that there's less chance of a bounce back. But if he's finally healthy, that could be a reason why he was doing so poorly. So if there's guys like that who were like playing through injury, and finally had a chance to get healthy, then I think there's chances for some people to have nice bounce backs.
And like all Russian players.
Yeah.
Like kind of like as a blanket statement. Like I actually think Washington's going to be really strong rest of the season just because they've got Ovechkin kind of
And sort of
helm over there. Yeah,
sure. And
PLD,
Protus,
actually,
and Protus,
and Protus. Yeah, that's it. So
Hey, where's Protus from? Is he Russian?
I don't know, somewhere tall.
LDXC sounds Protus. What?
Probably.
I meant to say LDXC sounds Russian, and I caught myself like literally as I finished saying his last name.
He sounds Protus, yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant. He's from Belarus, but
Almost Russian.
Yeah, almost.
All
All right. Blister Boy on Discord asked, "What's your view on Raddysh in a keepers league? Would you keep him over Roman Josi or Seth Jones?" I love this question because I think we've gotten to a point in the season where we just kind of have to accept that Raddysh is the real deal for this year. But this question is like, is Raddysh the real deal like moving forward? We don't even know if he's going to be on Tampa next year, right? Like he's going to be a free agent. He's probably going to get paid a decent amount. I mean, after a season like this, he can ask for a lot. What team is going to be willing to pay him? Is he going to be power play 1 wherever he goes? I think there's so many question marks with him that I don't think I wouldn't lean either way too extreme. First of all, I think there's no way he's ever going to replicate what he's doing this year. Not to be that like he can be, good, but this is just unbelievable. But I also don't think he's going to fade back to obscurity probably. Like I think if wherever he goes, they're going to have to pay him, and if someone's willing to pay him, they probably give him the deployment. A random thought just popped in my head. Maybe San Jose. They need a power play 1 quarterback. Like if he goes there and is playing power play 1 with like Celebrini, then maybe he could be close to what he did this year.
No way.
No, okay. This is actually like insane what he's doing this year. So, I don't think I would keep him over Josi or Jones. I don't know what you guys think, but
I wouldn't. I've answered this question
there's
a
too
few
much-
times in
yeah.
the Discord, and to me, it's just like if I have Raddysh right now. I mean, I know you guys are listening to this probably after trade deadlines in most leagues, but I'm trying to in keeper leagues. I'm trying to ship him out with the keeper value attached to him, being like, hey, look how good of a keeper you can have next season and get really good value back. Because first of all, I think he's gonna get a bag. Like I think this is his golden year. Darren Raddysh never assumed he would get even close to the production that he was doing this season, and now it's time for him to cash in. Like I think for his family and everything, like for his longevity, financial situation, like he's gonna get a bag, and I don't think Tampa's gonna be the team that gives him the bag. So I think inherently he's going to a different situation that's gonna be worse. He'll never be able to replicate what he's doing right now, and he might be fantasy irrelevant next year. Like that's in the range of outcomes at a solid percentage. I'm not saying I'm super hyped on Josi next season, but I think Seth Jones could be a good keeper in that situation. And to me, I'm just trying to capitalize on selling him right now before we know what the next situation is. If he does stay in Tampa, though, he signs an extension there, then I'll actually have to seriously consider being like, you probably have tremendous keeper value with Raddysh if it's like a draft cost to draft round or whatever. If it's just like straight up no draft cost and just keeping guys, I think it'll be a tough question. But if he stays on Tampa, is the only way I would actually consider him a keeper.
I am taking the other side of the coin. I'm definitely actually going to keep Raddysh. Josi has been a tremendous fantasy player, and I just think that next year it's like really up in the air as to what's going to happen with him, injury wise and everything. It's tough. So I really like that's too ambiguous. And Seth Jones, although he's an actual great NHL player, and of course you're happy rostering Jones, like Seth Jones, I don't think has ever scored as many points in a season than Darren Raddysh will score this year. So to me, it's like it's honestly kind of like a clear answer. I know he's got more name value and everything, but I'm actually definitely keeping Raddysh here. Even though I understand he could go to another team and still not be great. Like last year, Seth Jones versus last year Darren Raddysh. Yes, Jones kind of played.
He could go to a team and not even be the power play one quarterback there.
Who?
Like
Raddysh?
Raddysh, yeah. You could get signed somewhere and not even be the power play one quarterback.
No, 100%. Like, but I just think like I'm
Then
not
he'd have
that
no
confident
value.
in Jones, and Josi just may not play.
Yeah,
know
but
what
would
I
you
mean?
rather
Like,
would you rather Seth Jones or power play 2 Raddysh on Washington?
I feel like if he gets the bag, it means that he's gonna get the power
Oh, but
play.
he's
one.
not going to get the bag like $8 million a year, but like he might get like, I don't know, 4 or 5,
Four
like
and a half.
enough to be like a solid like second pairing defenseman or like the second guy on the first pair. But Tampa might just think that he fits their system, and that's why they're able to leverage his talents, and he's not good
Yeah.
anywhere else.
At the same time, with Barkov there, Jones may just not play power play 1.
I mean,
could
they
do
always have a
5-4
deal
power
in
play.
there.
Yeah. I think Bennett would
No,
be the one who gets
they've
bumped.
they've run 5 in the past.
Yeah, but it didn't last.
Anyway, to me,
Anyways,
I think that the ceiling with Raddysh here, just for the nature of fantasy, either you win or you don't. Like I think Raddysh can help you win more. So that's it. Like I get where you guys are coming from, but I'm gonna go with Raddysh as the top one.
All right, well there you go. You got all the views.
Yeah.
all the
You split
opinions.
the difference, Blister boy.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, last one. I think this is a bit of a leading question.
yeah.
Ninja Bob Dog on Discord asked, "How do you guys feel about 3-on-3 overtime in knockout Olympic games?"
It's dog water.
Are you American?
I mean, I think everyone kind of agrees that it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a coin flip, right? And it should have been 5-on-5. Like, well, I don't even know why they bothered saying go to 20-minute period of 3-on-3. It was never going to last more than 3 minutes, you know.
No
like
way.
realistically, like yeah.
I actually don't mind it in the preliminary rounds, but like the preliminary rounds are quote the season, and then the medal rounds are the playoffs, and
Yeah.
just make that 5-on-5 or at least 4-on-4 with a shootout. That could be kind of spicy too, but 3-on-3 is not good.
I honestly
For 20
don't know
minutes,
what
it's ridiculous.
the thought process was there. Like, who was making this decision? Like, did they actually think? I feel like the Olympics is country versus country on an international level. I feel like it has to have the utmost competitive integrity, and I think 3-on-3 is like the opposite of that. Like, not saying it's not competitive at all, but you're really adding the luck factor in there. And if you look at the NHL, the only reason why there's 3-on-3 is to satisfy the TV corporations that can't run the NHL games for so long because they have programs after, right? Like
And to avoid shootout.
Yeah, and the Stanley Cup is 20 minutes, 5-on-5, and that's it. Nothing else. Like that's how you decide which team is better. I think we were robbed of like a excellent finish. Maybe the result would have been the same, but I still think it would have been better. Now we just get to watch like one team go at it, miss, and the other team get another breakaway or whatever, and I don't know. Not fun. I would have said the same thing even if Canada won, by the way. I'm just putting that out there. Like
Yeah.
non-biased.
Yeah, no, it definitely kind of a joke way to end it. And yeah, regardless of who would have won, like it just should not have been that. And I agree with what Jakey said. Like, you can view the prelims as like regular season. You can have 3-on-3 there because no one's getting eliminated in the prelims, right? So the stakes aren't as high, and it is fun to watch, right? But like in terms of like actually deciding who's best, deciding medals, deciding like big games like that, like gold medal at Olympics, like a lot of players might value that like either equally or even higher than like Stanley Cup, like it's that important. So, and you would never even dream of having a 3-on-3 overtime in even the first round of the Stanley Cup final. So of the of the playoffs. So like the equivalent is just it's crazy.
You know what could have been fun? Last thing, and then we'll wrap up. Imagine 5-on-5, 3-on-3 for like 5 or 10 minutes, but not golden goal. Just like
that would be crazy.
I feel like that's a way.
Yeah,
like if you actually want to run 3-on-3, like imagine like U.S. scores, like Canada has like 5 more minutes to try and like get an equalizer or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that could be fun.
That would be cool, actually.
But the golden goal 3-on-3 is it just feels like too high stakes for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better.
Right?
But
yeah.
I just
or
thought
you
of
do Jakey's
that.
idea from a few weeks ago where,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it starts 5 on
Start
5 and then, like,
5
every...
Or that idea. That honestly would have been better too.
Start dropping players until down to 1v1, just goalie versus goalie.
It's like the Super Smash Bros of
Exactly.
hockey overtime.
That'd be sick.
Wait, who's that? Kirby. Kirby has the puck. Not Doc. I'm talking
Yeah, I was
about
gonna say.
the little Nintendo creature. Anyway, cool. Thank you to everybody for listening to our Week 18 Part 2 Hot Topics and Mailbag episode. If you enjoy the show, follow us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Rate us 5 stars if you enjoyed. Also, we are on YouTube. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to our channel as well. The Discord community is in the link. If you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, you can see the link to the Discord there. If it's on YouTube, you can also see the link to the Discord there. Click on the link, make a profile, it takes 2 seconds, and then you're in and you can interact with us. It's a great community. Kevin, you want to give a profile check? I could see it.
Let's just hit 300, guys. I want to hit 300.
Yeah.
300
He wants
Discord.
to shake that booty.
No. To shake the booty, I said we got to hit 150 Spotify reviews. So,
Oh, okay.
and they better be 5 stars. I mean, listen, if you're listening this far, you're probably giving us 5 stars, right? 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 Right?
Nice, that's the Padme Anakin meme. And did I
Yes.
forget something? All the socials are in, all the socials are in the podcast description as well. Okay, Ernie, take it away.
Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo!
A little quagmire there, like the.
I didn't know you could do that.
You didn't know? I can do it.
Oh, nice. Go on, okay.